Hello, everyone. Hopefully, can everyone hear me well? Okay. I'm very happy to be here today. In my introduction, I am the Director of Marketing for Jenne Incorporated. I joined the company about 18 months ago after having served as the Chief Marketing Officer for the American Red Cross of Northern Ohio, and previous to that, I was the Director of Marketing and Communications for Invacare Corporation, which is a global manufacturer of medical devices. So I have a lot of different industry experiences, but when I joined Jenne, I was very surprised to be joining a technology company that had not yet dived into social media. And so one of the first initiatives that I launched was to get Jenne into the social media world. And subsequently, as I launched those initiatives and started communicating with our reseller customers about social media, I had lots and lots of resellers that were contacting me asking how they could get a social media program started for their own business. So really the guts of my presentation today are on how to build your business with social media, how to get started if you're not currently in the space. If you already are engaged in some social media activities, hopefully I'll still share a few things that may resonate with you, things that maybe you haven't tried or dived into yet. But with social media, as with any type of good business program, and in particular with marketing, you really need to start off with a strategy. Some people do dive in without thinking through what is it that they want to accomplish. So it's a really good idea to start with a strategy, lay out some objectives, have the objectives tied to some measurable activities or measurable initiatives for your business. Do you want to accomplish brand building? Do you want to get your name out to influencers and decision makers? Do you want to just build your image amongst customers and potential customers? How can you enhance your reputation? How can you build referrals that translate into leads, that translate into business for your company? Another key to really having a great social media program is you have to have content to deliver. What is it that you want to say? What is it that you want to communicate? You can start with certainly news about your company. You can talk about vendor news. A lot of resellers that we work with, they have some things that they want to say about their company and their business, but they really want to be that conduit to the end user by sharing news that their manufacturer partners have about new products, new programs, and in particular, how can you be a problem solver? How can you offer value to that end user customer and help them solve problems in their business? Social media is a great platform for you to build that reputation, that image, and for you to deliver on that content. And then a really key part of it also is delivering the content consistently. Too many times, I know we all get busy with our day-to-day jobs and all the things that we have going on in our business, but you need to be consistent in delivering your social media content. I found that when I started with Jenne and was really actively involved getting our program up and running, that I took a very disciplined approach so that the first thing I did in the morning when I walked in the door and I fired up my computer, before I did anything else, even checking my email messages of the morning, I checked all my social media sites. I looked at the content that I had delivered through other means in the previous 24 hours and looked at ways that I could leverage that content and put it onto our social media platforms. When you start off in social media, particularly if you have employees who are working for you, and I highly encourage you to get your employees involved in delivering your social media content, it's a good idea to start off with a social media policy. The policy doesn't have to be necessarily drafted in legalese or legal terms and signed off by an attorney. But if you lay out some very straightforward guidelines, this will help you make sure that everybody's on the same page, that there's certain expectations that your employees are going to be expected to adhere to. The social media policy that I drafted for Jenne, which was also very similar to the one that I did at the American Red Cross, was really contained on one page. And these bullet points on the slide here really address the key topic areas for the social media policy. Follow your company's policies as stated in your employee manual. That's pretty obvious and straightforward. Lay out that employees are responsible for the content they publish, and they need to ensure the accuracy and clarity of what they're putting out there. Employees who are posting content or commenting in your discussion groups or on Facebook, or who are tweeting, they need to identify themselves and their role that they serve for your company. They need to respect copyrights when you're repurposing content from manufacturers or other sources. Need to respect the audience that you're communicating with, and make sure that your employees understand that they should be professional. When I launched with Jenne, I did training sessions for all of our product managers and our inside sales representatives. And I went through and monitored their LinkedIn profiles, for example, as a first step. One, made sure that they had a LinkedIn profile. Two, that it was accurate and up to date, that it reflected well on Jenne and was accurate in terms of describing their role and position and what they do for Jenne and what they could offer to customers. And then one of the key things was I went through and made sure they all had a professional photograph. Shouldn't have a photo out there that shows you in your party situation or with a beer in your hand. It should be a nice professional photograph that reflects well on the company and the business. Mistakes do happen. Sometimes there are errors that are made, and you need to make sure that you communicate with your employees who are participating in your forums that if they make a mistake, go out and correct it. Just go out and acknowledge that that was inaccurate information, and here's the correct information. And above all, try to add value by providing worthwhile information, something that is pertinent to your customers, your end users, and what they're looking for in their business. The three big social media sites, and there are many, many more, but the three big ones that I think most companies need to address if you're first getting into the social media space are Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Certainly Facebook is the largest of the social media sites. The stats that I pulled were as of August, and they have 1.15 billion users and continue to grow. Companies do have presence on Facebook, and I'm sure if you're all engaged personally on Facebook, you see all of the ads that are being thrown your way, not only on the sidebar that are ads, but also that are being suggested within your news feed now as suggestions for you to like and messages that they're promoting. So for your business, you would want to, of course, create a business Facebook page that's different than your personal account. And it is a place that you can post your company news. You can follow all of the various vendors. So Jenne is a vendor for 150 different manufacturers. All 150 do not have Facebook pages, but I follow those that do. And I'm constantly monitoring what Avaya is putting out, what Astra is putting out, what Digium is putting out, and we will share that on our Facebook page. We also use it as an opportunity to connect more personally with customers by posting internal things that Jenne is doing that have a photograph that I can post with it. So for example, at a trade show or an event or a conference such as this, taking a photo, putting it up there on Facebook and commenting, Jenne's here at AstraCon, is a good way to leverage the capabilities of Facebook. Twitter, which again in August had over 500 million users, 215 million of those are active users, is another great source, and you can go out and follow, again, companies that you want to leverage their content and information. You can search for industry experts that you want to be able to leverage and retweet what they're tweeting. Most people know that tweets go up to 140 characters, so it forces you to be a little bit more focused and selective on what you're putting out there. A great way to start building your following once you establish your Twitter account is to import your email contacts and follow them. Once you start following other folks, then you'll find that many of them will follow you back, and that's a way that you can start to build your own following. With Twitter, I think it's better in most part to aim for a narrow niche that's relevant to your business rather than volume. So I wouldn't be as concerned about recruiting thousands and thousands of followers. You want to make sure that they're really completely relevant to your business. You can tweet original posts, as I said, or you can retweet posts from those you follow, and you can connect your LinkedIn group to Twitter and do double duty, that whenever you post something on LinkedIn, you can then have it connected and it will automatically send out a tweet to your Twitter followers. Twitter can be kind of overwhelming, particularly after you've been in it for a while and you're following a lot of different sources. So I do recommend that you use something like TweetDeck, which will help you organize your what you're following and the content, so it's more manageable and you can quickly go through and sort by particular subjects, topics, or industry experts that you follow. LinkedIn is where we at Jenne have put the biggest part of our focus. LinkedIn has 238 million users. It is designed specifically for business. I suggest that if you haven't already started a profile, that's your first step. Go in and put in a profile, make sure it's current and up to date. It doesn't have to have your whole life story in there, but it should include the highlights and the places that you have been employed over your past, because those places of employment are key things that people who are looking to connect with you and your business may search you out. May find you. So you want to make sure that your profile includes those. You want to ask for recommendations from your satisfied customers that you can post on your profile. So LinkedIn has two different means of really soliciting recommendations. One, you'll see pretty much every time you log in, you'll see that it will come up different users and do you want to endorse that person. Those are okay. It gets you a mention. You're in the news feed. It brings some visibility to the group of people that are following you. But I think it's more valuable to go out to your connections and particularly your customers and send them a message and ask them, hey, if you're satisfied with this project that we just completed for you, would you write a recommendation for me on LinkedIn? And sometimes you have to be a little persistent. Again, everybody's busy, but to go back and reconnect with them a couple times. But those recommendations that get posted on your LinkedIn profile are very valuable. They can lead to new business opportunities, leads. In my particular case, when I was job searching after I left the Red Cross and was looking to connect with Jenne, our director of HR is very connected with LinkedIn. And she took a great amount of time reading through my profile and all of the recommendations. And she said my recommendations were so stellar that I immediately went up to the top of their candidate list just by those LinkedIn recommendations. At Jenne, then, again, one of the first things I did after getting kind of Facebook going, Twitter, was to launch a LinkedIn group. So we have a Jenne LinkedIn group that is very active, and we go out and promote that and everything that we're doing. I proactively take all new customer emails that come in through our CRM database, and I invite them through the group to join our group. So over a little over a year's period of time, we've built our LinkedIn group to about 1,400, 1,500 followers of the group. And these are the CEOs, top executives, C-level decision makers, head of sales, head of purchasing, who primarily follow our news and engage in interaction and conversation through the LinkedIn group. Once you have invited and you start building and developing the following, and keep inviting contacts. Again, you have to do this consistently, but then you want to make sure you're posting consistently. It's not effective to start a group, get it going, and then kind of drop off the face of the earth for a while. So again, another recommendation, as I mentioned earlier, is to get your staff to help you kind of spread the workload out. In addition to myself at Jenne, I have a couple of marketing specialists who post on a regular basis, as well as our product managers. And I even encourage our top execs and owners of the company to get out there and post and comment as well, creating more visibility. You can really raise your profile on LinkedIn as an expert in a particular subject area. So again, you could be posting content that's repurposed from a vendor, or it can be your particular expertise, your idea. You can post questions out there to start a discussion and a forum and engage some people to interact with you. Make sure that you, again, are consistent by checking back that once you post something, you need to be monitoring it to answer any questions that come up or respond to comments. Make sure your answers are useful, accurate, and not a hard sell necessarily of your services. People look to social media for information and content, but not hard sell. And then in addition to your own group that you start, go out and search and find relevant groups that you can create a profile in and visibility. I participate in 50 different groups in the kind of telecom, audio video conferencing and security products area. So as one of Avaya's leading distributors, we, in addition to the content that we would post on the Jenne LinkedIn group on behalf of Avaya, talking about new products, programs, webinars, trainings that we are conducting, I then go out to the various Avaya groups that are even bigger than the Jenne group, and I repurpose that same content and post it out there as well. Most of these different trade shows and conferences and events will have user groups. So that again is another great opportunity to repurpose that information and spread your name reputation. Generating leads on LinkedIn, you want to take your target list of companies that you would like to do business with, and LinkedIn is a great tool for you to search. So search by the industry, search by current or previous titles, search by current or previous companies, and you can come up with names that you can connect with. Now, when LinkedIn first started, it was considered, I guess, rude or not appropriate to ask somebody to link in with you unless you had a direct connection. I think that's changed a little bit over the last couple of years, but it's still best if you connect with people that you either have some connection with, or you figure out your best route to that connection through somebody else that you are connected with. So it will indicate if somebody is a second connection or a third connection. And then you can scan the list of mutual first connections that you have, and you can ask somebody to make an introduction for you to connect with that person. You really want to leverage the ability of LinkedIn to reach decision makers and influencers, and to really understand when you're going into particularly a larger company who you want to target and who you're talking to, who really is the decision maker. And using LinkedIn for that kind of intelligence can help you with that. So again, looking at job titles in an organization and gathering information from others in the company that you're connected with that can give you those insights so you can be best prepared when you go in to make a sales call. LinkedIn, anybody can get on board with it for free, but if you're really serious in terms of using it for lead generation, you'll want to consider one of the upgrades for one of the premium accounts. The free option lets you see a limited list of who's viewed your profile and full profiles up to the second degree, and it gives you 5 introductions a month and 3 sales alerts. But you can upgrade for $15.95 a month for the Sales Basic, which gives you 15 introductions, all the way up to Sales Plus and Sales Executive if you're going to be hardcore, heavy duty into using it on a day-to-day basis. So just something to consider. LinkedIn also gives your business the opportunity to target advertising. So you can acquire new customers for your business, you can raise brand awareness, build relationships, you can drive quality leads with the different sponsored updates. So you can, much the same as with Google in purchasing ads or words, you can purchase through LinkedIn, and you can click right on the site and fill out a questionnaire and form that will take you through who you want to target. So by job title and function, industry, company size, and seniority. Their form will take you through how to set a budget, and you can either choose your budget by paying by clicks or impressions. You can set it up to stop at any time. You have no long-term contracts, so again, it's easy to try and test it out on a small basis to see what kind of results you get before you jump into it on a larger basis. They have the different ad formats you can see there at the top of the screen. One type of ad with a click, and then to the right, the IBM ad is an example of another ad opportunity. If you really want to learn more about LinkedIn, a lot of people don't realize that they do offer webinars on a regular basis, and the ones that I recommend to our resellers who are looking to get started are to take the LinkedIn 101, the basics. It's about a 30-minute webinar. I believe it's recorded, so you can take it pretty much any time at your own pace. They do have a webinar on how to get the most out of your premium account. So again, if you're going to utilize that with sales representatives, you would want them to go through that. Same with sales professionals to learn about social selling. And they have one on how to build your company page. So if you don't have one and you're wanting some tips on how to get started, and then how, if you're going to be the administrator, to run your group. So those I highly recommend. Blogs also are a great social media tool, and if you're not blogging and leveraging content, it's real quick and simple to get a WordPress account. But if it's too time consuming for you and your business, then I recommend you follow other blogs and just be an active participant in somebody else's blog that would reach the audience that you're looking to reach. Go into their blog and participate and comment on their posts. Again, you have to put in the time. Social media tools are essentially free, but they do require some discipline. When you get started, you might want to plan on 1 to 2 hours a day to start. Once you get it up and running, though, I'll tell you honestly, I spend probably 15 minutes in the morning. I check in again in the middle of the day, and I check in at the end of the day to see if there's anything that I need to respond to in terms of comments or questions. So I am maybe putting in an hour or 45 minutes a day at this point in time. Publicize your social media on your business cards, your website, your email blasts, your email signature, anything that you're doing digitally or in print. Go ahead and put those icons out there to let people know that you are active in social media. And that really covers the essence of my kind of quick how to get your business going in social media. If you have any questions, I'd be happy if we have a few minutes. Or
actually, this is a sort of a truncated session where you get 2 speakers for the price of 1. So there's no questions for these shorter sessions, but Susan will be around to address any questions afterwards. And thank you so much.
Yes.